In other news, we've talked about how Jewish Portuguese descendants are eligible for Portuguese citizenship and thus EU visas. But recent changes in Portuguese marriage law is now complicating the issue. So here to break down the news, I'm joined by Jordan Levy-Bograd, the manager of the European Immigration Department with the Cohen, Decker, Pex & Brosh law firm. Jordan, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, okay, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about what changed in the law?
Actually, this change is a good change. Before, non-Sephardic spouses who wanted to get citizenship without living in Portugal for 18 months would have to be married for at least 3 years to the Sephardic spouse and have joint children. However, the change in the law actually is that spouses can be married for 6 years, regardless of children, and the non-Sephardic spouse can gain citizenship without living in Portugal for 18 months, as it stands right now.
Okay, so how is this affecting the process of Jewish Portuguese descendants applying for citizenship?
Well, there is an imminent change in the law that is going to happen, but the thing is that we still don't know when. The government hasn't given a sign. There's been a lot of rumors. A lot of people think it's going to be February, March. It could be 6 months from now. It could be 2 years from now. We really don't know. We have a legal team in Portugal. We're constantly in contact with them for updates, but there's nothing concrete at the moment.
All right, well, so in the meantime, to the best of your knowledge, who is still eligible? Is it non-Jews and Jews, or maybe just Jews?
Well, anyone that can prove that they're related to a Sephardic Jew, the chances are ideal and best with people who are Jewish today or children of Jewish fathers. People who have connections to countries like Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, and then northern African countries like Egypt and Syria, Libya, Lebanon, Tunisia, Algeria. Those countries are very, very clearly Sephardic, and people who have connections to those are almost assuredly Sephardic Jews.
All right, so obviously, known religion aside, I think one of the best ways to trace your lineage is through a last name. So what are some of the family names, or the more common family names that you've come across that are descendant of Portuguese?
Well, it's great that we're talking about this, because I've had clients who have incredibly Sephardic last names and they didn't realize it, and they call and ask if they're eligible, and they for sure are. Names like Abutbul, for instance, or Buzaglu, or Shetrit, Abarbanel, Ederi, Halevi, Hakohen. There's a lot. If it sounds somewhat Spanish or Italian or Portuguese, most likely it's a Sephardic surname.
Well, and it's funny that you said, because some of these names, even to a Hebrew speaker like myself, like Hakohen, like that sounds very Jewish to me.
Right, of course. Usually Levy, Cohen, I'm Levy, for instance. That can be anything. That can be Ashkenazi, that can be Sephardi, but usually, typically, Halevi, Hakohen is very indicative of Sephardic.
All right, so how do you start the process, and how long does that process usually take?
So we start the process by gathering documents, connecting them to the Sephardic ancestor, the country of their origin, and then usually it's very quick to get the recommendation, but in terms of once we file all the official documents to the Portuguese government, it's taking more like 24 to 29 months now because of all the backups with Corona and bureaucracy there.
All right, well, I'm sure that there are a lot of people at home watching this who have many more questions to ask you. So luckily for you guys, if you have anything else that you'd like to ask Jordan, she's doing a live Q&A on our ILTV Facebook page at 9 p.m. Israel time tonight. Make sure to tune in. Jordan, thank you again.
Thank you so much.